Hey everybody, welcome to the MMA podcast. I'm Karyn Bryant.
And I'm Pete Cummins.
It's number 55, I think.
Is it?
Yeah,
All right,
I think
all
so. So today we'll talk about some of the things from UFC 190, Ronda Rousey.
Big surprise.
Shocking.
Just shocked.
The Nogueiras. And we're also going to get into the Husamar Palhares situation against Jake Shields there at World Series of Fighting. And what are we doing in High Five?
I think High Five, just sort of 5 things that I learned from the Ronda Rousey fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, you learn something new every time.
Oh, do you?
Yes,
Yeah. By the way, that was fun hanging out watching the fights with you.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, we went out to a sports bar, Goal on 3rd Street, where we like to go, and we had a good time. It's a different experience watching in a bar. Like, the level certainly got turned up to 11 when it got time for Ronda's fight. Like, people were, having a good time. The Ultimate Fighter finales kind of brought things to a screeching, painful halt. But then, after Shogun and Lil Nog, like, all of a sudden,
Right.
the energy level, like, really...
But, like, imagine if you were on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was late.
I mean, those fights ended at 10:30 West Coast time. So if you're on the East Coast, it's, what, 1:30 at night? Is that right? Yeah, 1:30 at night.
because it starts at 10, yeah.
I mean, I'd be pissed if I'd paid pay-per-view and I had to sit through, through the
fights.
tough finale.
Oh, ouch. Well, plus, think of the announcers who have to talk for 7 hours. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of bantering.
I don't see, like, why not have the Ronda fight start normally? And then, because, like...
Put the people on after?
Yeah, because, like, once that ended, I was like, I'm not ready to go yet.
Yeah, you're right.
I just got all fired up. So then I could have gone for a few...
But they know most people will walk away, though, after Ronda. But it's so short that I feel you. Like, you kind of want a little more because... Doesn't it?
No, I could have done... Now,
some shows will put a fight on after a main event.
Now, I have to thank you. You picked up the tab.
We're in round 1 now. Yeah.
However, you did make the mistake of telling me you were going to pick up the tab before I order. So first I was like, yeah, just vodka and tonic house.
Stoli, Grey
Goose.
Goose. Yeah. No, it's my pleasure.
Yes,
I was happy to do so.
Happy to do so. And I enjoyed my caviar burger.
Yes, with the hand-massaged Kobe-babies.
Yes.
So anyway, we're in round 1 here. So Ronda, to nobody's great surprise, she said she wanted to finish Bethe in the most devastating fashion possible. I would say face down, butt up is pretty much about as devastating as gets. That was good for her.
She beat her at her own game.
Yeah, she did.
I mean, she came in and she stayed on her feet. It was at least one time she could have taken her down and finished her in normal Ronda fashion, and nope, she knocked her out.
She knocked her the F out.
You don't see that as Dana White said, like, you don't see women knock each other out like that.
You see Cyborg do it, but other than Chris Cyborg, you don't see it.
Right.
You don't see it like that. But
you don't see hormone-free women knock other women out.
Here's the thing: Ronda set some more records. She just keeps cranking. So I'm not sure which one we have first. If it's the streak or the finishing streak for champs, I don't know which one you have first there, Wade. Whichever one you want to throw up, we can let people know about. But here's the thing: she in the UFC, the streaks, the longest streak of finishes. Anderson Silva has 8, Chuck Liddell 7, Ronda now with 6. She's tied with Andrei Arlovski, Rich Franklin, and John Jones. 6 finishes in a row.
Who didn't she finish?
She this is all her UFC fights. She's finished. She hasn't gone to a decision with anybody.
Right, but who's taken her to a decision?
No, this is just in the UFC.
Okay.
What do you? She hasn't.
Well, so she's 12-0. Does she have 12 finishes, or
I think
does she
so.
have
I don't know
any
if she ever went to
decisions?
decision away before. And Strikeforce, I think she finished everybody because we were at a lot of those.
These are
this is a UFC streak.
No, I understand.
Right. Well, why do you bring up ones that she didn't finish?
I just want to find out if there's any
because
that
she's like, no.
So in her 12 fights, she's finished everybody.
I believe so.
And in the UFC, she's finished everyone in the first round except for the second Miesha Tate fight.
Ronda, right. And Liz Carmouche almost made it out of round 1. Almost. Right up until she didn't. This interesting. There's another factoid that we have got up here now as well, and this one is for the Well, anyway, I'll let him get it. So, all-time championship finishes, because obviously now being the champ, she like gets all these other records. Anderson Silva, 9 finishes. Matt Hughes, 8. He's a Hall of Famer. Ronda Rousey at 6 there. So, you know who the first woman in the Hall of Fame is, obviously. But so good for her. She just keeps kicking butt. And today, I read that she is going to be the new face of Carl's Jr. You know how they used to do those like.
Which is really funny because there's no way Ronda eats Carl's Jr. except for maybe the meal right after a fight.
Well, she loves chicken wings. I was actually surprised it's not a chicken place. Like that's her whole thing is she goes out and eats chicken wings and stuff after. But you know they've always had those commercials with Paris Hilton or the sexy whatever. So she's going to be the new face of Carl's Jr., which is kind of cool.
She's pretty big.
She's kind of a big deal. She did get a couple of black eyes. Now, this is one thing I will say about this. I didn't necessarily love, and you kind of knew this was going to happen, but that it was just going to be like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Like, I feel like in a way you lose sort of some technique when it's just like we were saying, it's kind of like a girls' schoolyard fight, and so
it was a little sloppy.
Right. She's much more technically better. She's better than that, but Bex, was just like. I'm gonna kill you. And it was funny though because obviously Ronda did her thing and she actually took a couple of good cracks there to the face. But she said later, I'm a little disappointed, about my posture and this and that. So I love that she's still able to critique herself. But she was saying her mom was in her corner and she wanted to do it in the most devastating way. And I pretty much think that was it. Like I don't think she could have done anything better than that.
Right. But I will say. Listen, I don't think Holly Holmes is even close,
of course not.
Even close to being ready. But if you do look at Holly Holmes' striking, and you'll notice that it's much straighter down the barrel than what we saw in that fight. However, Holly Holmes, her last fight, she just came straight forward and went straight back. Straight forward, went straight back. So she's nowhere near fighting. But as dominating as that was, it was kind of all over the place.
It was a little bit crazy. But she also, Ronda's pacing is better. You can't be a slow starter against her. And Holly, I don't feel like has that killer instinct like as quickly. Do you know what I mean? And so I feel like, certainly Holly isn't ready for her.
Yeah, no, Holly's not ready for it. But it's just, if you compare somebody who's a good striker with like really straight down the pipe punches, you can see the Holly's, but Holly's movement isn't. She doesn't really go side to side very well. So so Miesha Tate. So we're supposed to get all right. It's gonna really happen this time. Woo!
Well,
here's another $50 for that paper.
Ronda did say one thing that in a way though it is a greater challenge because Miesha has been in there with her twice. So Miesha has good intel on how Ronda works, more so than anybody else. Spent more time in the octagon with her. And Miesha did look, after a slow start, which is going to be very troubling, but she looked good against Jessica in terms of adding power to her striking.
True, but it's like Ronda improves at such a faster rate than any other woman improves. So it's like, first of all, Ronda's 20 years ahead of any other fighter.
Round 2. Make your point.
I'm not talking about Ronda anymore.
I'm just letting people know. No, go ahead.
Round Gestapo here.
No. But she is. Her improvement is, she's already here, and then she keeps getting better.
Well, it's because, like, her mom was a champ, and she did judo at such a young age that it's like, she needs to be put in a time capsule, and then in 20 years we open the time capsule and we go, okay, now you have some decent competition. Go ahead. So
don't hate her because
I'm building that. I don't hate her.
I know you don't. I know.
I just, I'd like my pay-per-view money back.
He's complaining because she's too dominant. Speaking of champs,
Fox Sports 1 announced Karyn Bryant.
Speaking of champs, former champion Shogun Rua got back in action against Lil Nog, and this is a rematch. They fought in Pride 10 years ago. Shogun won the first one. Shogun lost the first round. It was clearly Lil Nog's fight there. Shogun got a little wobbly for a minute, and it was like, oh no, because people have questioned his chin after OSP was able to take him out so quickly after Dan Henderson landed that perfect shot. But it's Dan. Everybody knows that he's got that hand. But so, it was a little tense for Shogun in the first round. Second round was definitely his, though, and the third was close, but I believe it was Shogun's. I'm okay with that decision. I know some people weren't. It's interesting. Nogueira said he really believed that the choke was good. He said he felt Shogun kind of like loosen. He thinks he had Shogun out, but with that choke.
But he ran out of time.
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you what he said. But that's tough because in Brazil, and I think even people were kind of booing after, which is tough when Brazilians fight Brazilians. Right. And it was a tough night because Big Nog had already lost, which we'll get into. The sentiment for the Nogueiras is so great, and it's hard sometimes to separate, my love for this fighter versus what I actually saw in the octagon. But I definitely think Shogun won.
Yeah, it's tough because he's almost knocked out on his feet in round 1, and he's almost choked out in round 3. And when was Little Nog almost defeated in that fight?
Well, but if you look at some of the kicks, when you talk about
the kicks to the side were pretty devastating.
We'll put it this way: afterwards, Shogun hurt himself because he kicked so hard. Like literally, he had to sit down for some of his post-fight interviews and stuff because. He kicked him, so he said all those body shots, and I guess one time it kind of got an elbow and this and that, so he hurt himself. Because I was telling you this, and I have to look it up because I might have been halfway correct and halfway not on the stats, but they did a sports science one time on Shogun, and they said that his roundhouse kick or whatever is like being hit by something moving 40 miles an hour. Okay, so you could hurt your own self doing that, I'm sure. But I think he did land more of those significant
40
strikes.
miles an hour actually doesn't sound that much. Like a baseball pitch is like a serve in tennis
but let's
is
say
120.
but like if it's a car going 40 miles an hour, you will be hurt.
Wait, yeah, but we're talking something that big. Are you sure it's not more than 40?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I said they said that the
I'm
force
like
was
at 12
equivalent.
miles an hour. Like if I hit you, it's almost like somebody crossing the street lightly bumping
I didn't
into
say
you.
he threw it 40 miles. I said they claimed it was equivalent to being hit by something. I'll check it. My goodness.
But if you're hit by a car 40 miles an hour as opposed to a tennis ball 40 miles an hour. Karyn, if you're going to bring in physics, I'd appreciate you have your damn physics.
At any rate, there's talk of Shogun and Rampage having a rematch. Rampage is, do it. He's got a baseball. Bam! How's that feel, bitch? That feels pretty good.
That felt about 42 miles an hour.
I got a pretty good arm, too. I used to, anyway, back in the day.
Softball stories. That's for another
baseball.
podcast.
I played baseball first.
Softball stories from women of the Northeast.
Yes. Rampage, has still some issues with the Bellator thing, clearing up that, even though he was able to fight Maldonado that time. But that would be a fun fight to see Shogun and Rampage. Like, I would watch that.
I was just so glad that this fight actually proved to be entertaining. Because
how did you think it wouldn't be?
Because at first it had a little bit of like a Bellator whiff, like these guys fought 10 years ago.
No,
Get psyched!
But they're not old men, though.
This is the battle 10 years in the making.
I hear you. But they're not
But
old
it ended up being good.
It was great. And it's not that they're too past their prime people, although some people may argue, obviously they're not what they maybe once were, but they certainly are still better. I thought Nogueira looked way better than I expected him to. No disrespect to him, but I know he's a good boxer, but I was like, dang, Nogueira still looks really good.
Which of the Nogs is Dana White trying to convince to retire?
Big Nog.
Gotcha,
We're going to get you in round 3.
Listen, were you proud of me that you mentioned Dan Henderson? I didn't at all talk about his wife. So hot.
She's a lovely lady.
She's a lovely lady.
Oh my goodness, Pete. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what was awkward too? A little bit of inside stuff. At the table next to us at the bar, there's this really nice woman who works closely with Anderson Silva. And if anybody knows the backstory, the Nogueiras are very, very important in Anderson's life.
Right.
And so it was tough because they definitely thought Nogueira won and Shogun didn't. And this was already after Big Nog had lost. Yeah, to her right. She was sitting with Ryan. Ryan. Yeah. She came over to talk to me for a little bit. Really nice.
Right.
And so that it's weird when when you're sitting right by people and they're sad and you're like, I know it's sad, but those two guys, they're legendary. Like it's hard to pick Shogun or Nogueira or whatever. Okay, so round 3. So let's talk about Big Nog here. He's a legend. He has nothing left to prove. The guy has given everything, done so much for so many. I don't like seeing him fight though. The last few times have been hard because I don't want to see him get hurt. I don't want to see him putting his body through things that, it's hard to recover. He's got a lot of miles on there. So Dana said that that they had a talk after, and that, he says, anytime you want a job, I hope that happens. I think it's going to, because he's like, I'm not going to give you more fights. I mean, I can't do that in good conscience. I thought it was a good fight for him. Stefan was really kind of a good test of what he still have, because Stefan's gone through his own troubles. He's not a fast-paced fighter, and you could, that was a good match for him, I think. Stefan actually had said, though, he was puking all day, like he was really dehydrated, which is
like
crazy.
The worst pre-fight.
He has the worst luck. But he said it was, what was it, like after the weight cut or whatever, something like he felt really weird, and he was puking all day, and he was totally dehydrated. So he's like, but he had to go out and fight. So that's why he says his pacing wasn't so great. But he is sometimes a slow starter, even though he hates being called that. But I thought it was the right fight for Nogueira. Right. Something he could handle. Yeah.
Right fight, and listen, it was a fight that Stefan needed.
Yes.
I mean, what, his first win in nearly 3 years?
In a while, yeah. But one of those years was off because he had this heart issue. It's not like he was fighting and losing.
But he's had a heart issue, and then there was the panic attack.
Yes, against Mitrione.
And then even now it's thrown up. But if you come down to Brazil and you beat a legend, I'd say you put everything behind you, and it's kind of like welcome back. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. He's fun because he's such a tall guy that fights so well tall. Mm-hmm. I mean, that front kick that just, you're like, maybe I'll no. There's the heel. There, and listen, he did well. Takedown defense was great. And he's got that jab and that front kick that, like, you can just feel the other fighter's frustration because he looks like kind of lanky, kind of slow. You're like, I'm going to take this people. Oh, God. All right. Let me.
There's that foot. Well,
it was fun to see him win. It was good.
Well, there's great shot here. I know for those of you listening, you can't see it, but you may have seen it around. I wish I knew who took it. I would gladly give them credit. But Stefan is bowing basically to Nogueira in the octagon afterward, while Big Nog is getting worked out. This is the greatest picture, like this, because so many people owe so much to Nogueira in spirit and everything. And he, Stefan said, "Hey, I know everybody wanted Big Nog to win. It's tough to come down to Brazil and fight this legend in front of you all, and I know the crowd really wants you to win." He said, "But for me, to beat this idol, this hero, like this is like the greatest thing ever." But it's a weird thing. It's a weird sentiment.
I want to beat my hero.
Who's your hero?
I don't.
That's
the problem.
You need a hero.
Maybe I'll make one of my kids my hero, just so I can beat my hero. Come here. Here's my hero. Come here.
Come here, flaw in your logic, Pete. I don't.
I either need weaker heroes or I need to become a stronger person. Yeah. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, I don't know.
But I'm gonna think about it.
That was pretty great. I also do want to mention Damian Maia's win over Neil Magny. I mean, that jits is sick. Okay,
that surprised me. I thought Neil Magny was really ready to make that next move. I mean, 7 wins in a row.
Yeah, it's good.
And he looked really good his last fight, and he just got schooled. Yeah. Just got really schooled.
And you can't, the thing is, if you're going to get schooled, that's the dude. I mean, there's no shame in losing to Damian Maia, I guess is my point here. The guy is a multiple degree black belt, one of the best in the world. And it's funny because afterward, Neil was just like, taught me I need to work on my ground game. I mean, that's the thing. It's like he just had no answer, and you might think you have some jits, and then all of a sudden you're with Damian, and you're like, oh my God, I know nothing. Because if you guys remember, Damian almost beat Rory McDonald in the first round of their fight. He came very, very close to a submission, and then by the later rounds of that fight with Rory, he ran out of gas. But Damian is a legit threat still, even being a relative elder statesman. And he was quoted, I'm not sure whose interview it was, saying he thinks, he could take out Robbie, because that's the thing, is like, Robbie's a beast and all this stuff and punch you into next week. But if you don't have jiu-jitsu and he gets you down, you know what I mean? It's like I said, he came very close with Rory McDonald, and we know how tough that guy is. Anyway, the welterweight division is fun.
I'll tell you what I'm most excited for.
What's that?
Claudia Gadelha
you like her.
and Joanna Janjakovic.
Rematch!
That is going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know you love the champ. You got to think for the champ. They had a good fight the first time. It was a close fight, a split decision.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I bet you are. And those cute little Reebok shorts and the low-cut tops.
Hold on. I respect her fighting there.
Is that right?
Yeah. I'm still on Dan Henderson's wife.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you mentally haven't moved on.
Kidding.
Speaking of holding on to something too long, Josimar Palhares has been stripped of his title.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
Yeah,
this morning,
all right.
Ray Sefo, the president of the World Series of Fighting, has stripped Josimar Palhares of his welterweight title, suspended him indefinitely. Ray really unhappy about the eye gouging. Really unhappy about the holding the submission too long. Like, you can't crank a submission that long. It's dangerous, and he's a repeat offender. You know, he's done it. Okay. Oh wow, we're getting. I'm gonna be really. No, we're good. I have something. I'm sorry.
I've got things to
no.
do too, you know.
Yeah, you do. You gotta refill your coffee. You gotta. I don't know.
This is like third of my priorities.
But so. It's the right thing to do, and apparently the Nevada Athletic Commission also may still have some penalization for Josimar and maybe even Jake, because if you saw the fight, Jake throws that punch after the bell. They're like, "What the F
You know
punch?"
what?
But it was totally deserved.
Totally deserved. First of all, one of the amazing things about the UFC is the sportsmanship that these guys show to each other. So when you see something like this, like cranking somebody's arm after... Listen, if you're all in the fight and you can't feel when somebody taps out, then fucking take a few months off and like figure your shit out, because like doing that, what a dick move.
Yeah, well, that's why he got kicked out.
But... And who's that ref too? I mean, how many times are you going to warn somebody for eye gouging?
This is when I love the fact that you are kind of newer to the sport. Historically, go back and look at Josimar while he was in the UFC, and why he got kicked out because of all the late holding. Steve Mazzagatti, if you just Google like Dana White opinion Mazzagatti or something like that, like you will hear the rants of a lifetime. But Dana cannot stand this guy. He is a ref who has gotten who's late stoppages, bad calls, this and that. He's a repeat offender as well.
Listen, I can see if you suck and you've missed it. Like, I've mugged me. But you didn't miss it. He's watching it. Oh, you know, you're going to get warned.
You should probably
you're going to get warned.
do that.
You're going to get warned. You know.
No. Yeah,
I wish that guy was my parent. I could have gotten away with fucking everything.
Totally.
Hey, sorry I stole the car. I know. Next time I take the car, I'm not going to be able to have it.
Next time. Yeah, well, the thing that's so tough about it is, you know, Jake is a friend of mine. I've known him a very long time, and his trainer, Tarek. So I called them late that night when I got home from the bar.
Right.
And Tarek told me, he said, yeah, he goes, all the eye gouging, he's like, between rounds 2 and 3, Jake told me on the stool, he goes, I can't see.
Right.
And Tarek's like, dude, I'm right here in front of you. He's like, I can't see you. Okay, so then Tarek's like, well, what do I do? Do I stop the fight? Do you want to keep going? I don't know what to do. This is like one of my best friends.
Right.
So obviously, Jake goes back out there, and if you see round 3, like, he actually still doing some stuff, which is amazing if you can't even see the guy. But a really terrible situation. So I said, well, what's up? How are his eyes? He's like, well, his pupils and stuff, they're all black. You know, he's all scratched up. I said, well, why aren't you at the hospital? He said, oh, well, the hospital here is taking too long. We're taking a flight out, you know, first thing in the morning though, and we're going to go, you know, straight to the hospital. So I don't think there's any like permanent damage. I haven't heard further there is, but it's terrible. Like if Jake's in the guard, it all said like he's getting raked, and he posts up. He's like,
and you can see the hand. Like
what is going on?
Face.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. So this was him after the fight. There's claw marks. He you know, dude, come on. And the thing that's sad, like the thing that's crappy about it is, Palhares is good until he turns psycho and does that. Do you know what I mean? Like holding the submissions too long and stuff like that. But
it's such a dangerous sport. You can't do that. You can't have anyone in it who doesn't respect the few rules there are. You know, and it's like, now what was the result of the fight? Is it a no contest?
No,
or did Jake get the win?
It may get overturned it may become a no contest. That was part of the NSAC stuff.
It's got to be a no. I mean,
you would think.
You know, the guy can't see for the 3rd round, and he clearly lost the 3rd round.
Right. Well. Here's the thing, though. Like, if the doctors knew he couldn't see, he wouldn't have gotten to fight the 3rd round.
Right,
you know what I mean? And then, Jake won round 1 and 2, though. But he would have been the one to say, "I can't go on anymore." So Josimar would have still won. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been like, if he gets stopped at that point, I think he
all I know is that the evidence is so there. He won rounds 1 and 2.
Oh, he was beating him.
And then he couldn't fight in the 3rd round. He should get the win.
Yeah, no, I agree, and he would maybe want a rematch, but I don't know if he would, but or what'll happen with that. It sucks.
If Mazzagatti would have called
gouging,
he would have gotten his time, and if he said I can't see, he would have won.
Yeah,
Right.
He screwed up because Mazzagatti could have actually disqualified him, like in the fight, been like, dude, have you seen the rules?
You should have at least.
Yeah, it's not cool.
I just like giving my opinion on things that I have absolutely no power over.
Fine.
This is what should happen.
Right here, right now. So tough break for Jake. I hope that he's okay. He's a good guy, and then that's crappy. Come on, you can't do that.
Especially not in this sport, man. I mean, this sport is so dangerous. You got to respect the 3 or 4 rules that are established. I mean, listen, in soccer, if you want to throw your leg out so somebody trips over it, all right. I'm not, I'm just going to call you an intense competitor.
Right.
But in this sport, if you put you're an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, what are all the other fighters' reactions on it?
No, I'm good. So, speaking of funny things, so I saw there was a flop. I don't know if it was in Switzerland or Sweden or something. Literally, the soccer flops. Like, one guy was like, had his arm up or something, he was waving to the ref or whatever, and then somebody else like ran into his arm and then like did this whole flop. It's pretty hilarious. You actually should look it up. Yeah. There's something. Yeah, it's just like blah, flop city. All right, Pete, go ahead. It's round 5. Go, do your thing. You always go overtime. Start, go now.
Go. Okay, all right.
Go.
Hold on. All right, so listen. 5 things I learned from the fight this weekend. Okay, 1.
Ronda's fight, you're saying?
Yeah. I'm not going to ever pay pay-per-view for a Ronda fight again. Because it was so short, it was on Twitter.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone had it on Twitter. And I'm like, going like, there's money. So, 1, don't get fooled.
Unless the rest of the card is something else that you want to see as well. If Ronda and Conor McGregor are on the same card in December, in the stadium, in Dallas, they're getting your money. And you know what?
You're right. All right. But now listen, also apparently this fight trended higher than 189.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Which is, well...
And also apparently the most active bet in Vegas was whether it would go past the first round. And it was 3-1 odds against.
That it won, right.
I mean, like, that's amazing. Like, if I was fighting like a 12-year-old, like if I just say, hey Karyn, I'm about to fight this 6th grader.
A fair fight, in other words.
For 5 minutes. What are the odds that he doesn't last past 5 minutes?
Right.
Would it even be 3-1, or would it be more like 2-1?
I don't know. How big's the kid?
Well, he's like a 6th grader. He's like 150 pounds.
I'd say the kid could last. Because he'd be fast. You might have power, but you wouldn't be able to catch the scrappy little dude.
See, I can't even get 3-1 odds against a 12-year-old.
You gotta catch him.
All right. So anyway, that's pretty amazing. All right, number 2. Number 2 was the 3-1.
Oh, okay. The odds on the prop bet there.
Okay, number 3. Apparently, Ronda's gotten so big.
How big is she?
She's gotten so big. No, apparently she's actually inspired a porn movie, and this is true, 100% true.
I know.
So, do you know the name of it?
No, I don't. Okay. I heard that she's inspired a porn movie, but I did not.
Guess the name of the porn movie. I'm going to read it out. Okay, it's the porn movie that's inspired by Ronda Rousey. Is it named Ronda Arouse Me? Ronda Ream Me? Ronda Drowsy, Ronda and the Sore Horseman.
Oh no! I kind of feel like it's probably the bottom one. I don't know. The Sore Horseman? Is that it?
No, that came from my sick mind. Yes.
That's really good. That's actually really good, Pete. You might have a future over at Vivid.
Ronda Arouse Me is the new porn movie.
That's fun. Is it? I don't know. Is the company called Vivid? I don't know who makes this kind of movies. No, that's actually pretty good.
I do like Ronda Drowsy. That's when Ronda and Bill Cosby get together. Hey!
Hey! You got jokes!
Who knocks out more women than Ronda Rousey? Hey!
Welcome to the Catskills. But yeah, okay.
All right, number 4.
Yes.
I really learned all week that I love saying the name Betch.
Yes, you do.
I wish that was an American name. I really do. In fact, I have more fun saying that since the last time I claimed that my favorite philosopher was Immanuel Kant. Or that my favorite politician was 1946 New York Congressional Congressman Samuel Dickstein. Can you actually believe this guy's name is Dickstein? Samuel Dickstein. Look him up. New York State.
Oh boy.
That's like when you call somebody, like, if you're really angry at like a Jewish person, you're like, "Don't be such a Dickstein." Like,
Oh my God.
look at that. I mean, that is the worst name. And my last name is Cummin. You know, for me to
You would know.
You know, for me to know, Dickstein is worse than Cummin. Dickstein's like that. Plus, you're putting on a little slur or something. I don't know. Lastly, Ronda's scowl reminds me of a Dr. Seuss character. And I'm not sure I have it right, but come on, I can't be the only one
Oh no!
to see that. Look at that.
That's pretty good.
Look at that. Now, I'm not sure it's the Grinch, but it is a Dr. Seuss
But the
character.
scowl is
Look at the eyebrows.
The eyes. Yeah, she, you know,
The
obviously
eyes.
it's the jawline is different.
The
eyes she's got. You might be close on there. I wonder.
But listen, I look for it because, and I've noticed this the last couple fights, when she comes out with that scowl, I'm like, that's like an angry Dr. Seuss character.
Well, it's also because of the little hair, the little knots, right? Kind of make it cartoony a little more.
And so I tried to find it. The best I came up with was a Grinch, but if anyone else can help me out, yes. So anyway, that's it. Listen, Ronda's beautiful, but when she scowls, she looks.
Oh my God!
Bingo!
For the first time in his life, Pete finished.
Hey, I got
high
things
five.
to do also. I got
Wow.
more important places
Everybody
to be too.
Finished at the same time, Pete. That's amazing.
Why do I have a feeling that's a tinged with sexual references?
Maybe just a little bit. Couple things I want to talk about outside of MMA. This weekend I went down to the 5 grappling tournament on Sunday that Wade produced. It was a huge success. I'm there with Nick the Tooth and Kenny Florian and Kenny's wife Clark. We had a great time down there. We were sitting right on the mats. So it was great. We were down at Studio 540 in Solano Beach. Beautiful place. So the great thing is, so you can see me over here in my pink pants. Nick and I are into it. So here's the thing though. Spriggs is here with Samois, right? Yeah.
Very small.
Yeah, right. And so Spriggs ended up winning the $10,000 for the guys, and Mackenzie Dern for the women also won $10,000. Great thing about 5 is they give women and men equal pay for awards.
I should say that women should have won $8,750, Karen. 87.5% of what men get.
And they would have
Let's
had
take back the country, men.
Fix sandwiches for the men. But so it was fun. It was really fun. If you guys missed the pay-per-view, they're actually giving it to you half off. Like, it was sick. Gary Tonin.
What's happening here?
So here's me. I was having a beverage, and you know, the guys, like I said, we're sitting right on the mats, and so you know, sometimes the action spills right into you. And so I'm like, here. There's a couple times we had to jump up. What I love though is Clark. She's got her dog Hercules on her lap, right? Herc doesn't give a you know what, and Clark is just doing that thing. You guys have seen that video of Master What's His Face where he makes people just fall down, where he stares at them. So I love Clark because she's just like, I got this, and so she's not even worried. But yeah, the action would spill out. It was great.
I love the chapeau. I never know what chapeau.
He's rocking that.
It's a graphic design.
Yes, he did a great job. But you guys should order it. Really, some of the best. You know, Keenan Cornelius is in it. They're like some of the best jits you'll see. Kenny was like tweaking. He had such a good time. And there we are with Mackenzie. She won the $10,000. She's amazing. If you guys know, she's even beaten Gabby Garcia, and she's just three submissions. She's and the last submission you could see her. She's so determined. And well, I won't tell you how it ends. But anyway.
I'm guessing it ends in a submission.
Yes. But it's totally worth the cash. There's our buddy Joao Assis. He ran into me at one point, stepped on my foot. But that's a big man to step on your foot. But I'm sorry, that's okay. But great guy. He's a really great guy. He came in 3rd for the men. So that was really fun.
Pay-per-view's now half off.
I just said that.
Oh, sorry.
You can't hear me because you get the headphones on. One last thing before we get out of here. And I hate to end on a sad note, but a guy that we love very, very much, Macca Foley, who is a boxing coach at Fortune Gym where we spent a lot of time, passed away. And, you know, if anybody's ever been to Fortune Gym, like, he's literally like a cut me Mick, you know, in Rocky, he's like, cut me Mick. He's Mick. Like, he's the guy in the beanie cap, the old school dude who knows everything there is about boxing. I mean, the sweetest face in the world. There he is with Tam. Like, he's an encyclopedia. They literally have a book of boxing, like, who fought so-and-so, and that was this. Like, he knew everything there was about it. Actually trained our buddy Sheck for Sheck's last fight and stuff. He's a fixture. When you showed up, you had to sit there and shoot the crap with Macca. He's one of those guys who love to, like, pretend to be kind of curmudgeon-y, but he's the sweetest guy in the world. So he has passed away. Just wanted to really just share, like, I love that guy. So I'm pretty bummed out. And everybody up at Fortune knows, like, what a great loss it is. It's tough. So if you guys have ever been there, you know. And we had shot an interview with him for a documentary, and we are still probably going to put it out because the documentary, blah, 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 blah. But to that end, I wanted to show my respects for Mr. Macca. Also want to let you know, we have an interview with Beneil Dariush, who is fighting in the co-main event this weekend in Nashville. So we'll be getting that out for you. I've got UFC tonight, and then I'm on the desk Friday and Saturday for those shows. Glover Teixeira versus OSP, main event. Good fight there. Co-main event, it's Blackiao and Beneil. It's Michael Johnson and Beneil. Scrap. And it's on Fox Sports 1, so it's going to be great.
Cool.
Where can people find you on social media, Pete?
My Noogie.
My Noogie.
Now,
tweeting at a rate of...
You know,
he tweets.
I tweet. I have 175 followers. Who's going to be number 200?
You used to have more. That's the thing. And you flew.
That's what I want to ask. Who's going to be number 200? Could be you. Could be you.
More. On Twitter, I'm at Karyn Bryant, KarynBryant. You can also find our YouTube channel there. We've got an MMA Heat channel, we've got MMA Heat on Facebook. Instagram, I'm KB Heat. What?
You're not on Pinterest.
Nah, screw Pinterest.
I've done some wonderful boards of, like, couches that I like, that I'm thinking of redecorating my living room, and it would be nice for you to weigh in on it, Karyn.
Ain't got time for no Pinterest. So that's it. So anyway, I think tomorrow night on UFC Tonight, my interview with CM Punk is airing. I grabbed the other day. He's awesome.
I think I speak for everyone when we're gonna devote the next 5 days to pretty much stalking you over the media.
All right, okay. I'm gonna go now. You can keep talking about or thinking about Dan's wife, but I gotta get out of here.
I'm done.
Thanks.
Clark took me out of it.
Oh, yeah, she's a lovely girl as well. Kenny Florian, though, he can absolutely kick your ass.
Well, I think Dan Anderson can.
Back up off both of those.
All right, let me just say something. I love my wife, and I'm thinking about my wife and nobody else's wife.
All right, folks, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.